Welcome back to Pokémon Stadium. So yeah, Deji.
What are we doing now?
Deji, how familiar are you with this
Is there
game?
any reason why the selection icon is a bunch of Magnemites?
Because they lock on the
I have no
Because they
clue.
look awesome.
I have no.
Because they're awesome.
I have no clue, Jova. Okay, so there are a total of 4 cups in Pokémon Stadium. The Pika Cup, the Petite Cup, the Poké Cup, and the Prime Cup. The Petite Cup is levels 25 to 30, a tournament with many cute Pokémon, but don't let down your guard, you will be tested. The Poké Cup is between level 50 and 55, the official Pokémon League tournament. There you go, Deji. Little did you know that this is actually the official Pokémon League tournament. Prime Cup. The Prime Cup is the ultimate tournament without level restrictions, and the Pika Cup only allows Pokemon from level 15 to 20. So let's start with this one.
If I correctly, it only allows not evolved forms. Like,
Oh, that's
the petty.
That's the Petite Cup.
Sorry, my bad. Also, get an unintentional joke. The 4 cups spell P.
Yes.
Pedro. I didn't. Okay, thank you
So
for giving me a
that's
new
where
name for
Pedro
Silver
got it
Screen
from.
Conference.
Yes.
Touching.
Yes, of course, that makes sense. Okay, so levels 15 to 20, maximum free Pokemon level, total of 50. Yeah, that's another thing. You can't just pick any random Pokemon. The maximum free, when you pick the free Pokemon to go into battle, their total level sum can't exceed 50. So yeah, when it comes to raising a team on your Game Boy for this cup, it's more than just a level limit thing. There's quite a lot of stuff you have to read those rules and make sure your Pokemon from the rules. My usual thing is I usually have a team of all 16 level Pokemon. That way, no matter what combination I choose, the levels will never exceed 50. So that way I have more freedom of how I can choose.
You can kind of tell these type of rule sets are shaped up with the Battle Frontier from Gen 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
So, Bug Boy. Yeah, he's just Bug Boy instead of Bug Catcher like he is in the games.
Yeah, it's not a good time for me to say that the Battle Frontier wasn't really good. Neat idea, but the
You're not
concept
alone,
was
Dej.
stupid.
Are you talking about the game or the anime?
The game.
One of my friends actually despises the Battle Frontier, mostly due to the fact that he mentions that the AI rubber bands in its favor against you constantly, and I do understand where he's coming from. I just really enjoyed it. It's as simple as that.
The one thing the one Frontier thing was I hate was Spencer's. You know, where you had to, you couldn't command your Pokemon; they just had to react to their own.
Yeah,
moves.
to evolve.
That how it's
Yeah.
just stupid.
Alright, so Deji, I haven't asked you yet. So, how's your familiarity with this game?
0.
Alright. Well, are you gonna try it on the Switch when it comes out?
I was, but then I realized what you guys just removed the core appeal of the game.
Yeah. Again, they can still salvage it by when they put Game Boy games on, like if they make a Game Boy Switch app, and maybe if they can arrange for connecting both the N64 and Game Boy apps to add these features in, because it's possible. This emulator that I'm using does it, so it's not like it's impossible. If they do that, then yeah, you can salvage that error, but at the same time, yeah.
Oh my god, that death animation is terrible.
What's wrong so wrong about it?
Like it's Ice Blink.
Ice Blink? I don't get it.
No, Venom Net. It's like its eyes went from red to dark.
Well, I'm guessing that's an intent, like this, the light literally disappeared from his eyes.
From his eyes.
I'm pretty sure that's the intent, Edge.
Ice is nice.
Buttery.
Again, I think the most horrifying one is Jinx's, because she literally just melts away, leaving around just a wig.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, being the first opponent, Bug Boy here is basically a piece of cake. And there you go. They also have the badges here, where there's a total of 8 opponents, and each one also has the badges from Gen 1. Not that this really means anything, it's just, I guess, something to put on screen to make you feel like you've accomplished something, I guess.
Basically, yeah.
Well, you mean to tell me that these are the new gym leaders? Oh my god.
Next generation of team leaders drove a similar to
Wow, they suck.
Alright, so Youngster here is instead called Lad. I get the feeling the reason they changed these names to
And
from...
yet, not a single Rattata. Disappointed.
So there you go, Dibs. Youngster is now Lad. So Lad is the British equivalent for Youngster, I guess?
Technically.
Okay, sure. We'll go with that.
That's also a term used for like a mate or something too.
Or guys. Like, am I right, lads?
Friend, the dude, similar to that. Colloquial, basically.
Theory is that because the word catcher and the word youngster are a bit long and probably they didn't fit in the text box for this game, so they changed the name specifically to accommodate for that probably. Alright, now I'm...
Alakazam is just fine.
Yes, he is.
Here's the first move.
You ever think about how the Ultra Balls logo is completely different?
Yeah, since I can bring Mewtwo into this cup, I pick the second best Psychic Pokemon you can get, which is Alakazam. There you
Well,
go.
he was a bit
Abra-
powerful because you
Abra-
actually had to trade him in order to evolve him to that point in the game.
Yeah, Abra evolves into Kadabra at level 16, which means you can indeed put an Alakazam in this cup, if you know. Fortunately, or Jova, or maybe Jova, you can do what I do, is use a ROM hack that allows for you to get Pokemon in ways that don't involve trading / using another, basically emulator-friendly ROM hacks that allow for you to get all 151 Pokemon without having to resort to emulating trades and shit like that.
Where's the honor in that?
The fact that when you're using an emulator, it becomes a lot harder to do. I mean,
See, that's fair because, you know, when it comes to that, unless it's some specific rule set where there's an online community that creates dedicated servers that you can do this kind of shit, some of those features are literally otherwise impossible. I can understand why bending the rules.
Hey, Tio, I need to trade in black and white.
Yeah.
You want to play right now? Technically, the fan servers have found a way.
you know what's interesting? You know what's it? Sorry. You know what's interesting? Because one cool thing that you can.
What's wrong with this swimmer space?
Wait.
Close your mouth, sir. And use a Magikarp. Why?
Because it's the king of...
If it helps you, Teo, his Magikarp is a Gyarados in the hard mode. Might as well explain that right now. In both Pokemon Stadium games, there's actually the first campaign, which and then when you complete the game 100%, the game unlocks a hard mode, which is actually known as Round 2. The game calls it Round 2, which is literally both Gym Leader Castle and the Stadium mode with harder opponents. Basically, I'm only going to go for round 1 because, trust me, gameplay wise, it will come across. The reason I'm doing all the cuts because I want to show off as many animations of different Pokemon as I can. Because, like I said, a lot of these animations really stood the test of time. They really look good even to this day. So, what was I going to? Yeah, again, Teo, Ken Sugimori still had to perfect his style, like we've said before.
I still there's something charming about his Gen 1 and Gen 2.
Oh, I agree. Like even the Gen 1 sprites, they're terrible, but there's just a campy charm to them, in my opinion. Like there's just something about them that just makes them really endearing to me. Okay, Poliwhirl. So here's a Thunder Punch. Again, you see, Jova. This is why we need to teach Pokemon moves they hate. See how useful it is? There you go.
I know what you're referencing, but what was that from again?
A certain when we do the podcast of movie 10, that's when you eventually put it up on your channel. So so basically, everybody go to Blue Zone Comms. In the future, there will be a podcast about movie 10 of Pokemon. So, Burglar.
I don't even remember this trainer type.
They were in the Cinnabar Island Pokemon Mansion.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just that they're probably the least common type of trainer you find in Gen 1. So, yeah.
Because you fight them in that specific area.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they were originally going to be in Silphco.
Possibly.
It is
and
possible.
Their purpose is a Team Rocket takeover.
crowd's excitement is building. This is round 4.
You know, I love War Turtle, but man, the transitions between that and Blastoise is weird.
He loses his flappy ears and gains 2, shoulder cannons.
Great body slam.
Well, I like Blastoise is still cool, but it's just like,
Oh, it is.
this doesn't make any sense.
That's you're speaking with the person who has extreme bias again, towards water starters by default.
It's like, yeah, and as you can see, one of the primary moves you definitely should teach to your Pokemon in this game is Body Slam. And even the AI knows it, because Body Slam has a 1 in 3 chance of paralyzing the enemy, which gives you a huge advantage, like so.
What a furious battle.
Yeah, I know that you're biased towards Water Stars, but would you agree that they peaked with them with Gen 6 and it's just gone downhill?
Let's see. After that, we got Poplio.
Primarina.
Yeah,
which,
Poplio but turns into Primarina, which is basically furry bait. And then we got Froakie. No,
Inteleon.
Yeah, I forgot the first form. Called. Oh god, no. I know he's a proboscide, but let's see. No, I actually really like Inteleon, to be honest.
I mean, it's cool, but it's just like, it's too slender for it's too slender for my liking. Because you can tell like it has like a semi-pop belly. It's like, oh, come on.
Neither one is
It's paralyzed.
Again, it's going through the theming of the starters of Gen 8 being themed after British things.
Yeah.
In the case of Inteleon, James Bond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I do appreciate the feeling that Sobble is sad, Drizzle is emo, Inteleon is brave.
Alright, Psychic type versus Psychic type. Time for a battle of attrition.
I'm not particularly comfortable the way they over-animated Drowsy's proboscide.
Tio, do I have to read to you its Pokédex entry?
Yeah.
Which one?
About it, keep kidnapping children or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the as old as time they made a shit ton of creepypasta somehow connecting it to Lavender Town just because the music theme was appropriate, I guess. So it's nothing new on that front.
Alright, my Alakazam woke up immediately. Oh no, not Pound!
What now?
There you go, yeah.
Fun fact, shame it lives is BRB for this, but Pound, as you know, is a term, it means, throwing a punch in this context. However, if you know, it's also safe to say something indicating a measure of weight, or in the case of the British, also a type of currency. When the game was translated in my country, Gen 1 specifically, I think Gen 1 and 2 used it. I think
I do like.
Gen 3 did it. Oh, sorry, go on.
I do like how they gave Sandshrew the animations of a sumo wrestler. Did you notice earlier when he got out of the pack with the Pokeball? That's
because he didn't skip that day. Jesus. Again,
Ted is very enthusiastic too. Just let him.
When it came to translating the game from my country, Gen 1 and 2, at the very least, they translated the term pound with the word equivalent of the weight measure, which made no fucking sense. And a lot of
hey, look, guys, it's Mr. Fix.
What?
There you go, Fix It. Apparently, this is Fix It Junior's father. From Wreck-It Ralph, there you go. Like we in Wreck-It Ralph, we hear about how Fix It Felix Jr. is Junior, so there was a father. I guess it's maybe his father, maybe.
And he has a Mankey and a Kingler. I can understand to an extent the Porygon, but
in Gen 1, this is one of those guys you can find in the power plant. Basically, they like to use electric type Pokemon, but yeah, for some reason he has a Kingler.
I was gonna say, did Power Plant have any enemies?
That's the thing. Similar to the burglar before, I guess I had this Mandela effect where I don't remember trainers in those places.
I remember trainers in the mansion. I don't remember trainers in the in the power plant. But I think that has maybe it's because I played Fire Red and Leaf Green, so maybe they removed them.
Probably.
Probably.
The first move.
There we go.
Actually, this is like...
That was quick. Down already.
And Porygon. Again, too, the primary selling gimmick is watching all these cool 3D animations, so gotta make sure the player feels like their money was well spent.
This is a fight between two different.
Again, it's one of those. Think of it like this too. It's kind of like the FMV games of the '90s. Back then, it was such a cool novelty to watch our Pokemon from the Game Boy games animated like this on the TV screen.
Yeah, I think I mentioned something similar to that when it came to the monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses. Sure, again, it had everything Forbidden Memories as well, but...
Fireworks are flying in this battle.
Yeah, but when it comes to, I will argue that in here it's much more better. But when you take a look at the animations in Forbidden Memories and Duels of the Roses, they're a bit more stiff. And don't have nowhere near as much fluidity as these do, because so I'll argue that this one was definitely top tier, definitely way ahead of those two games.
Yeah.
There's a difference in the number of reserve
Also,
Pokemon.
I've been noticing for a while, this particular battle theme is bizarre. I know what a remix is, because it does contain elements from...
The remaining Pokemon count is
I forgot if it's
3 to
either the
1.
encounter theme
The battle
or
has become
the trainer
one-sided.
battle theme, probably the latter. But it sounds like
What'll it do?
the battle theme for
There,
Monster in the
it's a hit.
first Kingdom Hearts.
Also, no, they didn't have enemies in the power plant. Look at it's a Bulbapedia.
Oh, they did?
They only
Okay.
added them in Let's Go.
Ah, okay. So where?
Where could you
only two.
find...
So where did
Maybe
they?
Lieutenant Surge's gym, I think?
No, I'm pretty sure the trainers in Lieutenant Surge's gym are like. Okay, I'll have to look it up because no, I mean, remember this game came out. By the time this game came out before Gen 2, so it can't be a trainer from Gen 2. It has to be from Gen 1 somewhere. It's just that I'm sure. Anyway, this is the hiker. This is the guy we found in caves. We know where this guy comes from.
Yeah.
Probably even less common than the burglar, considering I'm struggling to remember.
I'm gonna check.
But yeah, and yeah, even though hikers usually have rock and fighting Pokemon, this guy has a Wigglytuff, a Seadra, a Ghastly, and a Kadabra. There you go. Okay.
They're located in Vermilion City, but not in the power plant.
Well, there you go then. I guess maybe.
Yeah, it's called... Okay, let me see.
They're called the Engineer.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go then. Engineers, again, same thing. Engineers too long a word, so putting it there, they have to change it to Mr. Fix.
In Japanese, they're literally called old electrician. That's specific.
Well, you know how it is in Japan too. Well, you know how it is in Japan too. Like,
I guess it's old as in, expert veteran that knows about their job. Maybe they intend that.
You know how it is in Japan. Like, once you hit 30, you're officially an old man for some reason.
Also, I kind of get why we don't remember much. Apparently in Gen 1, there are only 2 trainers of
How
these.
will the type difference
This kind.
affect that?
And apparently, okay,
There it goes.
they don't even know. Apparently, they don't know what to decide, Pedro, because in some countries they're called electricians, including yours, apparently. But
Wait.
in others, including mine, they're called mechanics.
Okay. I have no freaking clue where, Theo, because I can tell you that Gen 1 was never translated in my country. I can tell you that.
Not even the more recent games.
No. Well, the only thing
I
Nintendo.
guess
The only translations Nintendo Portugal ever made were for a couple 3DS games like 3D Land, but they were like minor platformers. They never did translate any Xenoblade games or anything like that. And eventually, because apparently, I guess Nintendo didn't really commit to the effort, because eventually they cut down on funds, and now the only thing Nintendo Portugal does now is just publish. They don't even translate even text of a Mario game, because Super Mario Odyssey is not even is entirely in English over here.
I'm guessing that it's a case of Bulbapedia being, being lazy because they put your country's flag when it comes to the Portuguese side.
I can well, maybe that's what they did. Maybe they took the Brazilian translation and just put it in there. I mean, a lot of developers do that. Final Fantasy 15 did that.
Wait, her name is just Lass.
Yeah, Lass.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, she's like that in the games in the games
Yeah.
too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so they didn't bother changing.
My favorite right next to lad.
Remember.
That's actually how we translated the youngster in this game.
Well, again, like I said, Dej, I'm pretty sure the reason some of these names were changed is because look at that text box. It's clearly too small to include a huge word like engineer or a youngster. Hold on, I'll count them in too. So this one wasn't changed because the last only has 5 letters, so 4 letters, so it's fine. And click. There you go. Where was I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why these names were changed. They're just out of necessity rather than actual, you know. All right, Arcaness.
Here's the first
The secret connection with Earthbound.
Yeah, special fell. Oh, and of course using dig.
Burrowed underground. Fireworks.
I love how the animation for digging is just the Pokemon spinning.
Twinkling.
Fighting poses. The Pokemon return.
All right, might as well do what. Hey, Joe, might as well change to a war turtle. There you go.
What'll it do? A decent hit.
Well, it's a decent hit.
It's like Professor Oaks critiquing Pokemon Snap. Oh, this photo is incredibly detailed, always angle. It's so.
To be fair,
I wonder how is the rating in the sequel?
I actually have seen it first time because, during the year, one of the parties I've been actually did play a couple of tracks, routes from it. I can tell you that they're less dickish in terms of rating, even if you do something shitty. They said, well, this might not be great, but I can see what you're going for, something like that. They're more gentle in critiquing you.
I don't know. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, that's cool and all, but I don't know. To me, part of the charm of the original game was that Professor Oak was such a fucking dick when evaluating your pictures.
Again, it's like J. Jonah Jameson. He's like, this sucks, and I'll get out of my office.
Although
He's not that.
I think the usual suspect actually did a skit where he's showing pictures to J. Jonah Jameson and Jameson ranks the photos as if he's.
Oh my god, you watch him?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Okay, cool. Someone else watches him.
Wait. Unusual Suspects? That's a skit show?
No, he's a reviewer.
Although he stopped doing the reviews
that.
now because he felt that kind of review style to be untenable.
What will the next Pokemon
He saw what happened to Silent and all of a sudden was like, nope.
Also, Pedro,
I thought you were about to say he saw the negative reception that the clipless nostalgic critic reviews get.
Also, Pedro, I noticed that a lot of these trainers' Pokemon have different color palettes on them, but they're not practically shiny, so what's the deal with that?
I already explained that to you. In Pokemon Stadium, when you change your Pokemon's name, the color changes based on what name you give it, which again is an incentive for to experiment with various names, see what kind of color schemes you get, basically.
My bad.
Which is a pretty unique idea. It's almost kind of, I'll admit, that's an idea I would not have minded actually making it into the mainline games.
If anything, it gives that feature more usage because, again, okay, let's experiment, because especially considering how you can rename Pokemon over and over by this point. So yeah, it would be cool to, let's experiment, see what kind of cool colors we can give to the Pokemon.
Guessing the reason they didn't bring this over into the main games is because they didn't want to devalue shinies.
I guess.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure, Joe, that are all the people.
I mean, I can tell you. Sorry.
That will be able to keep their green Dragonites.
Well, Jova, I mean, I don't know, because I can tell you that Pokemon Stadium 2 still has this feature, but also has shinies. So that game was able to have both this feature and shinies at the same time and without any problems. So I don't know. It doesn't.
No. Look, mind you, I'm not speaking from the battle common sense. I'm speaking from the mindset of a corporate executive.
Okay.
Let's be honest. Try and tell me that's not what a corporate executive would think.
Sure. There you go.
Why does it make it look like you shot the Pokemon in his face?
They've been doing this
Because
very
Lass
early
is
on.
dead now.
the penultimate.
Because this
You
game.
failed me, my
Is the next
Pokemon.
trainer a Team Rocket run?
Yes,
You know what that
Fisher.
the final boss. Fish.
And he doesn't have Magikarp. Impressive.
No.
You know, honestly, the gunshots, that reminds me of that tidbit that was revealed in the What Happened episode of Donkey Kong 64, where it turns out the apes were literally going to have actual shotguns, to which Miyamoto said, yeah, no.
Thank you. That's like one of the. Okay, that's actually. I will give credit that was the. I will give Miyamoto credit. That was definitely one case of him meddling that for the better. Definitely.
There are examples of him meddling, which.
Oh no, sure. I'm sure. Oh, there are. I'm not saying there aren't. It's just that I can also point to other examples where I don't think it was.
I managed to work out in the end. They just needed to give him a makeover.
Like in GoldenEye, where he wanted James Bond to shake the hands of all the people he shot in hospital.
Bro, what are you doing? On one hand, that's funny. On the other hand, what?
Okay. And also to give Miyamoto credit, I believe he was also the guy who came up with the idea, hey, let's just make a coconut gun instead.
Oh sure, I can. Oh sure. I still don't understand his idea of turning Dinosaur Planet into a Star Fox game for no reason, but whatever.
Oh, I can explain.
I can get that one. Go on, Dej.
Let's talk about it from a business standpoint. A lot of rare games weren't selling too hot. Star Fox was popular. They decided to use the Star Fox name in order to sell copies.
It was something that made sense at the time. I'm not gonna.
It worked out so well, they jumped to Microsoft.
I mean,
That was before.
To be fair, that's not really the reason they jumped to Microsoft, seeing as how Rare were always up for sale. In fact, Nintendo could have bought them if they chose to. They just
according to the Stamper Brothers, said that they were surprised Nintendo didn't buy them because at the time everything seemed like the more logical decision to do. So the Stamper Brothers themselves have said that they still don't quite understand why Nintendo didn't just do it themselves.
Did the Star Fox Adventures go over that badly?
No. There's the purchase by the Microsoft purchase was already done shortly before Star Fox Adventures release. Basically, Rare finished that game's development, and right after that, they were sold. So
here's the deal, Dweebs. Even though Rare had been bought by Microsoft, they still had a period of time where they were still making games for Nintendo under contract. So it was one of those funny bouts where you could.
The DS one.
yeah.
It was one of those funny bouts where I guess you could joke that a Microsoft team was making Nintendo games. Which is funny given what's kind of happening nowadays with how much Microsoft likes to get in bed with Nintendo.
Alright, so almost done.
I have to give props to this Fisher man. He had the Dragonair. He got the right idea.
They always said wait,
Hold on. Then why is you think with somebody called Fisher, why would he have that kind of dragon type? Like Dragonair is dragon flying. It has nothing to do with water.
I guess
that's because
it can look like a Neo, so we
that's
process.
That's because Jova, Pokemon Stadium likes to mix things up by giving trainers Pokemon that you don't usually expect them to have, especially in this case of this being the last battle. In order for the sake of giving him a tough team to beat, they give him a Pokemon that's specifically tough, in this case Dragonair.
Guess that's fair.
What'll it do?
One of the things that you have to remember about this game is that this game was truly meant to test your skills of the GB games by fighting these super tough, like Deji said earlier, like Teo said earlier. Think of this as the predecessor to the Battle Frontier,
Which is funny because the actual exams are in the second game, not this game.
Sure, that's true. The reason, like I said, it's one of those cases where the reason I did those first is because. I'm sorry, too? What?
That close up of Slowbro's face.
But Teo,
Slowbro has seen some stuff.
It's already a problem, but it's not closing its fucking mouth.
Teo, our laboratory went to great troubles to recreate all that artwork into 3D models. So you should appreciate how good they look.
The icon is just standing there.
well, that's just Slowbro in a nutshell, too.
Which one do you prefer, Slowbro or Slowking?
I prefer Slowking. Why? Because he has the best line ever in a Pokemon movie. I could use pants.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I'm sorry, that's the most memorable moment in that movie to me.
Remake of Pokemon 2000.
Because everything else was just really dull, to be honest.
Is it confirmed they're actually doing that?
No,
Nice
I'm
jingle,
just
bro, with the
jinxing
medal,
it.
by the way.
Well, in that case, what would we call it then? Pokemon 2000?
They'll just call it the Power of One.
Dwibs. It's...
Well,
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, they were talking, go on.
Remember when they called that movie Power of Us? I wonder if
That's the
Remember, Joey, my country is instead called like Pokemon 2, the Strength of One instead.
Well, that kind of...
Oh, yeah.
That's,
That's,
you know what?
that's the title over there.
Fun fact, over here, the title was The Unique Power.
Okay.
The Unique
See, the
Power.
reason they won't remake it is because then they'll have to pay Tracy's voice actor, and we know they'll never.
Well, no. Says. Here's the simple thing: remake it without Tracy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Why can't you make it with both Tracy and Brock in it? You make everyone happy with that.
Alright.
Sure, I guess.
Also, Dwibs. Also, Dwibs. Well, Dwibs, it's like Jon Stewart said on the Daily Show. We cannot all be as wise as Slowking when he's wearing the Shelter of Knowledge. Yes, look it up, everybody who doesn't know. Shelter of Knowledge. So, alright, see you next time for the Petite Cup.
The
Yeah.